and welcome to another episode of Pocky for Thought. Today's episode, we'll be talking about Marvelous Melmo. Marvelous Melmo came out in 1971, and it was a magical girl anime aimed at children, specifically young girls. The main character, her name is Melmo, and she's the oldest of 3 children. Their mother dies in the first episode after getting hit by a car, and God and his angels decide to grant her a wish. And she decides she wants her wish to be for her children to grow up into adults so they don't have to be put in like foster home or something like that. And God does not think that's particularly a good idea, so they kind of make a compromise with the mother. So they make this bottle full of blue and red pills that they then give to little Melmo, who's like, I think she's 9. And they give these pills to Melmo, and the instructions are that if she takes a blue pill, 1 pill ages her by 10 years, the other pill de-ages her. And she uses the pills to turn to an adult so she can take care of her younger brothers and do adult things that, like, save an elephant. And she uses the other pill to go back to her regular age. Or that should be how it works. The show doesn't really follow its own rules very well, so sometimes she'll be taking only 1 pill but turning into an old woman, and other times she'll be taking a red pill, and then she'll turn into a really tiny baby. And then somehow she takes a combination of pills and reverses her back to her regular age. But the most bizarre part is when she takes like half of one and then half of the other, and she turns into an animal. And it's never consistent, and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's just one big WTF. Such a huge WTF. It's just one big mind screw from episode 1, and it never stops, and it doesn't really get better. It just continues to screw with your head. And I was having questions about puberty, I should have said this earlier, but it was created by the same person who created Astro Boy, Tezuka Osama, and he had intended Marvelous Melmo to teach young children about puberty and adulthood. And it should not be watched for that purpose. Oh my god. I was having questions, and I'm a grown woman who has already gone through puberty and knows exactly how things happen. Like, yeah. And I was having questions as to what the heck the show is doing. I mean, oh my god. Really, you would have to watch the episode in order to truly understand what this was. But I'll do my best to help convey it. It is one of the first anime to have a lot of panty shots. Like, she's like 9 and you're seeing her panties, and she's a grown woman and you're seeing her panties because her clothes don't fully grow with her, though apparently in the manga they do. So the panty shots seem to be mostly an anime edition, and oh my god. Like, you never stop seeing her panties, and she's stripping when she's like little, and then takes a pill and then grows into a grown woman, and then gets redressed, but you see her nude so many times. And this is a kids show. I know that nudity is handled differently in different countries. Like, the way that America would handle nudity on television isn't the same as Japan would handle nudity. And this was in 1971, so the rules for now are different from the rules that were back then. But really, there's more nudity in the children's show than there is in the seinen series Lupin the Third. We only see Fujiko nude once in Lupin the Third. Marvelous Melmo, she is 9, and we see her naked almost every episode, if not more than once in every episode. In both the 9-year-old form and the adult woman form. And it just boggles my mind. It does have a lot of female characters with agency. The Melmo does a lot of things by herself and is actually really independent, if horribly naive. It's very easily to trick Melmo. Like, very easy. And she makes decisions where, from an adult from my perspective, is like, no, you're going to get kidnapped or worse. What are you thinking? Don't do that. How sheltered are small children? Did your mother tell you not to get in a van with strangers? That type of thing. And it was the 70s, and I have heard stories of my mom telling stories about my grandfather when he was a kid, and yeah. And we keep an eye out on our children much more these days. Let's just say that. But while they are these characters with a lot of agency and independence, there is a very, very heavy focus on getting married and having babies. That is most of what Melmo's conversations with anybody are about. Even if it's about talking about elephants having babies, or rabbits having babies, or animals having babies. There's just a lot of having babies and getting married, and no one actually talks about sex by using the word sex or talking about what sex is. It's almost like they're using marriage as an equivalent word so that they can just gloss over exactly what happens in order to have a baby. But there's an episode where Melmo's at school and she actually doesn't use her pills at all throughout. Well, that's a lie. She does use the pills in the beginning of the episode, but she doesn't use her pills to solve the problem that's in the episode. So that's a little different from most of the other episodes that I watched, where she was using the pills to help her achieve her goals. In the episode that I'm thinking about right now, she was going to school, so she couldn't really use her pills at all to solve the problems that they were having with the boys at the school, and it was basically boys versus girls. And there was a lot of there was a lot of talk about expectations for girls and expectations of boys, and how the girls didn't like how the boys were trying to tell them what to do or boss them around and stuff. And the moral of the episode was that boys and girls need to get along because both of them are equal, and they're both equal because they both need each other to make a baby, and that a baby is like the most important thing ever. That's how it basically felt like the episode was touting that. And the show is just kind of really weird, and even though its motivations are obvious, like, it goes about what it wants to do in such a strange way that I have no idea what anyone was thinking when they made it. I mean, you see an animated fetus grow into an animated baby. Like, you go see the egg, and then you see the fetus, and then you see the baby. And in the first episode, this happens, and then you see an elephant baby grow, and I just don't know. I don't know. It just amazes me that this was a thing that was created. And there's an episode where Melmo turns into a rabbit, and there's this male rabbit who wants to have babies with her, and it's just interesting to see how that's handled. Like, no one actually mentions sex, but there's a lot of talking about having babies and talking about getting married. But there's not actually any sex talk, even though there is talk about puberty and changes in bodies and all that stuff. And that's kind of weird. Like, sex is a very important part of that conversation, but it's not happening, and it would be really weird if it was, because it's a children's show, and I just don't know. Parents did hate this show, by the way, and it's very understandable because it doesn't teach its lessons very well, is the main problem, I think, with its intention of teaching puberty. That really is a conversation that the parents should be having with the kids, or in sex ed, or not from this show, anywhere but this show. And no, I can just imagine the questions these children were having when this was on the air, and they were asking their parents about questions that the show was bringing up. I actually kind of want to be a fly on the wall for those conversations, because wow. Just wow. If you haven't watched it, you should actually go see it. The Wikipedia page has a very good link for where you can watch the episodes, and I've seen the episodes floating around on YouTube, but it is just full of what the fuck. Just a huge mind screw. I don't know what they were thinking, and it was actually rather amazing. And that's really all I have to say about Marvelous Melmo. It was wow. And so that's it for this episode of Pocky for Thought. The next episode should be about Supernatural, the animation, because I've been really obsessed with the live action show that's been on the air since 2005, and I found out that they made an anime for it that came out in 2011. So I have that now, and I'm watching it when I'm not watching the live action version, and I should be finished with the series soon. So look forward to that. Bye everyone!